Okay, so you're ready to dive into witchcraft, and you want to know about the tools, not just what they are, but like how to actually use them. Forget those bubbling cauldrons and talking ravens. We're getting practical and creative with this deep dive, proving that magic can be sparked with like everyday objects and a focused intention. And to help us unlock this potential, we've got an expert in the history and practice of witchcraft joining us today. So ready to make some magic happen.
Absolutely. And you'd be surprised how much magic is already around you, just waiting to be tapped into.
I love that.
Oh.
Okay, our guide for this deep dive is Witchcraft 101, Essential Tools for Beginner Witches. And first up, something I bet you already have, candles. Now they seem simple, but this source makes it clear. They're like the foundation of so much in witchcraft.
It's all about the symbolism, isn't it? Fire has always been this powerful force. Transformation, purification, even will. So when you're like lighting a candle with intention, it's like focusing that fire towards your goal.
Oh, that's a really cool way to think about it. So it's not just setting the mood, it's almost like fueling your intention with the candle's flame.
Exactly. And different colors even add another layer to this. Think green for abundance. That's like a link across cultures and time periods.
Okay, so say I want to attract some prosperity. I light a green candle.
Mhm.
But then what? Are there specific techniques or rituals to really harness that color's energy?
You can incorporate things like herbs or oils associated with prosperity, cinnamon, daca leaf, those sorts of things. You might even carve specific symbols or words into the candle itself. It's all about layering those intentions,
Yeah.
making that connection as strong as possible.
That's so cool. It's like each element adds another dimension to the whole magic. Speaking of adding layers, next up we have crystals. And honestly, I'm a sucker for anything sparkly. But they're more than just pretty rocks, right? This source talks about how they amplify energy, they provide grounding. I'm picturing myself carrying a pocket full of good vibes.
That's a great way to think about it. Crystals have these unique molecular structures. And while the scientific community might not fully back all the claims, practitioners have used them for centuries, for healing, for meditation, for warding off negative energy. There's a real power in their presence.
I've always heard about clear quartz for amplifying energy, but it's always felt a bit vague to me. So let's say I'm feeling drained. How would I actually use a clear quartz to boost my energy?
There are a few ways. Some people hold it during meditation and visualize their energy connecting with the crystal's energy. You can place it on your body, almost like it's recharging that specific area. Even just placing it in your environment can shift the energy around you, like on your desk while you work.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like a subtle but constant support system. I've also heard that some people believe that the effects of crystals are just a placebo. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, whether it's placebo effect or something more, if it helps someone feel more grounded, more connected to their intentions, then isn't that valid too? The important thing is finding what works for you.
That makes sense. It's about finding what resonates and feels powerful to you, regardless of like the scientific explanation. All right, now let's move on to something even more accessible. Herbs. So you're telling me my spice rack is basically a witch's pantry?
In a way, yes. Many herbs have both medicinal and magical properties, going back centuries. Think about it. Modern medicine draws from plants all the time. Witchcraft just taps into that same power, using herbs for spells, for teas, for cleansings.
I love that. Okay, so give me some concrete examples. What can I do with, say, cinnamon and rosemary?
Okay, well, cinnamon is often associated with prosperity and success. You might sprinkle it around your home to attract abundance, add it to spells for financial gain, or even just burn it for its warming, inviting scent. Rosemary, on the other hand, is known for its protective and cleansing properties. You can burn dried rosemary to purify a space, add it to baths for spiritual cleansing, or even just carry it with you for protection.
Wait, I've actually heard of rosemary for protection.
Why?
My grandmother used to tuck sprigs into her travel bags. Now it all makes sense.
It's fascinating how many everyday herbs have these rich histories and uses. And you don't need to be an expert herbalist to start working with them. Even just being mindful of their properties when you cook with them can add another layer of intention to your daily life.
That's a great point. It's about bringing that awareness and intention to even the simplest things.
Okay, now for some tools that maybe sound a bit more witchy, athames and wands, do I need these? Be honest.
Honestly, no, especially not for beginners. The athame is that ritual blade used for directing energy, not physical cutting. It's like an extension of your will. The wand, often made of wood, also channels energy, but if you don't have them, your finger, a pen, any object with meaning to you can work just as well.
So it's the intention behind the tool, not the tool itself that's truly important.
Precisely. Witchcraft is about personal empowerment. finding what resonates with your energy and beliefs. It's a very individual practice.
I love that. That definitely takes the pressure off. Now, two more tools that bring up those like storybook images. The chalice and the cauldron. What's the real world use for these? The chalice, usually a cup or goblet, represents the element of water and transformation. It holds offerings, consecrated liquids. Think of it as a vessel for your intentions. The cauldron, tied to fire and transformation, is where you'd burn herbs, mix potions, do transformative magic. But again, these are very traditional tools.
So if I don't have a fancy chalice or cauldron, can I just use a teacup and a pot from my kitchen?
Absolutely. A teacup can be just as meaningful, and any fire-safe container can be your cauldron. It's about finding those everyday objects and imbuing them with magical purpose.
I love that. Making magic accessible. Now, this source also mentions the Book of Shadows. That sounds a bit intimidating.
Think of it as a personal journal for your witchcraft journey. You record spells, rituals, dreams, reflections. It's a space to document your growth and connect with your practice on a deeper level.
So no ancient leather-bound tome required. I can breathe a sigh of relief.
Not at all. A simple notebook, a digital document, even an app on your phone. It's about having that dedicated space to track your experiences.
So it's about personalizing your practice, making it truly your own. Before we wrap up this tool tour, the source also mentions a few other things. Incense, a bell, a mirror. Any quick insights on those?
Well, incense can be used for cleansing a space or setting the mood with its aroma. Different scents are associated with different intentions, like lavender for peace or sandalwood for grounding. A bell can be used to clear energy or mark the beginning or end of a ritual, using sound to disrupt stagnant energy. And lastly, a mirror can be used for scrying, a form of divination, or simply for reflecting on your intentions and progress.
Wow. Even seemingly simple objects have so much depth and potential for magical use. But here's what's really resonating with me. You don't need a ton of fancy tools to practice witchcraft. It's all about intention, creativity, and finding what feels right for you.
Exactly. The most powerful tool you have is your own intuition and connection to the energy around you. The physical tools are just there to assist and focus that energy.
So if someone's feeling overwhelmed or intimidated by all the tools out there, what's your advice?
Start small. Choose one or two tools that call to you, a candle and a crystal, or a few herbs from your kitchen. Experiment. See how they feel. And gradually build your collection as your practice evolves. It's a journey, not a race.
That's reassuring. It's about starting where you are with what you have and building from there. And don't be afraid to get creative, right?
Absolutely. That's one of the most exciting parts of witchcraft. Finding those everyday objects and transforming them into tools of empowerment and magic. Your kitchen knife can become an athames, a mason jar, a cauldron. It's about imbuing those everyday objects with intention and personal meaning.
I love that. Finding magic in the mundane. That's such a powerful concept. And speaking of intention, can we talk a bit more about that? It seems like intention is really the key ingredient here, even more so than any specific tool. Would you agree?
Absolutely. The tools are aids. But your intention, your focused will and energy, that drives the magic. It's about connecting with your inner power and aligning it with your desired outcome. Visualizing your goal, feeling the emotions associated with it, and directing your energy toward it. That's where the true magic lies.
It's not about like waving a wand and making things magically appear. It's about using these tools to focus your own energy and intention. So witchcraft is more than just spells and rituals. It's about self-awareness, intention setting, and connecting with your inner power. It's a spiritual practice, a way of life.
Exactly. It's about aligning yourself with the natural energies of the universe and working in harmony with them to create positive change in your life.
This is all so fascinating. I feel like we've just scratched the surface of how much intention and energy play a role in witchcraft. Okay, let's say our listener is feeling inspired and ready to experiment. What would be your advice for a complete beginner? Where should they start?
I would say start with what feels most natural and accessible to you. If you're drawn to crystals, visit a local shop or explore online. If you love herbs, start with what's in your kitchen. Choose a simple intention, like bringing more peace into your life or attracting abundance. Light a candle, hold a crystal, brew a cup of herbal tea, and just focus on your intention. Feel the energy flowing through you and visualize your desired outcome.
So there's no need to jump into complex rituals or spells right away. It's more about connecting with the energy of these tools and intentions in a simple, intuitive way.
Exactly. Start small, experiment, and trust your intuition. Witchcraft is a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. As you learn and grow, your practice will naturally evolve and expand.
And I love that our source emphasizes personalizing your practice. There's no right or wrong way to do it, as long as it feels authentic to you.
Absolutely. Your practice should reflect your unique beliefs, values, and goals. It's about finding what works best for you and creating a practice that feels empowering and meaningful.
This has been so enlightening. I'm already feeling inspired to incorporate some of these tools and practices into my own life. For listeners feeling the same way, what's one key takeaway about witchcraft tools you want them to remember?
Remember, the tools are aids. The true magic lies within you. It's your intention, your energy, your connection to the natural world that makes the difference. Trust your intuition. Explore what resonates with you. And most importantly, have fun.
I love that. Have fun and trust your intuition. That's great advice for any spiritual practice. Now, before we let our listeners go, we always like to leave them with a little something to ponder.
Yeah.
Based on what we've discussed today, what's one thought-provoking question you'd like our listeners to consider?
Now that you know about these tools and their potential, what resonates with you the most? Which one are you drawn to explore further? And how can you incorporate it into your life in a way that feels authentic and empowering?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Take some time to reflect on that, dear listeners. And as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, or experiences. Feel free to share them in the comment section below. Or join our community forum for further discussion. And hey, if you discover any cool ways to use everyday objects as witchcraft tools, definitely let us know. We're all about that DIY magic.
Absolutely. Creativity and personal expression are key in witchcraft. It's about making the practice your own and finding what works best for you.
Well, this deep dive has already been so fascinating. I feel like we've just scratched the surface of this rich and complex topic. And honestly, I'm a little bit in awe of how much magic there is in the everyday if we just open our minds and hearts to it.
It's true. Magic is all around us in the natural world, in our own intentions, in the simple act of creating and connecting.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired to embark on their own witchcraft journey, what's one final piece of advice you would offer?
Trust your intuition. Follow your curiosity. And don't be afraid to experiment and find what resonates with your soul. The world of witchcraft is vast and diverse, so explore it with an open mind and a playful heart.
Beautifully said. Trust your intuition. Explore with curiosity. And most importantly, have fun.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of witchcraft tools. It's been an absolute pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine. May your journey be filled with magic and wonder.
And all our amazing listeners, keep those minds curious and those hearts open. Until next time, happy exploring.